Hi, everyone. I hope you're having a great day. We are going to continue our review of some fourth grade skills this week, and we're going to be working today with a lot of poetry. So remember, poetry is a genre of writing, a type of writing, and the author is typically trying to convey or tell us his or her feelings or get us to feel a certain way as the reader. So, there are a couple terms that I want to review before we hop any further into poetry. So, first of all, you can see I had food on my mind today. So, I chose a poem about popcorn, one of my favorite snacks. And I chose this poem because it has a lot of language in it that creates an image in my mind as a reader. So we're going to talk a little bit about that in just a minute. But before we do that, we need to understand the parts of a poem. So we know that in regular writing, we have sentences, we have paragraphs, but in poetry, we have different terms for those things. So we first want to review a line. In poetry, a line is going to be a group of words that is arranged in a row. So it will not always be a complete sentence. Um, so you can see the first line in this poem about popcorn is pop, pop, poppity pop. That is the first line. The second line is shake and rattle and shake. That's the second line. So you can see they don't even have periods on the end of all of these lines because they're not complete sentences. So we call those group of words in a poem that are arranged in a row a line. The second term we need to keep in our minds is stanza. And a stanza is kind of like a paragraph. So that's going to be the group of lines in the poem. So if you look at this poem, your first stanza is right here, and your second stanza is here. Okay. Now, if we go back up to our first stanza and I count the number of lines, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 lines in my first stanza. So I want you to keep those words in your mind, line and stanza in a poem. So the next thing we're going to talk about is something called sensory words. And when I think about the word sensory, I hear a base word in it. The base word is senses. So sensory words are words that are going to appeal to our senses. And you have been learning about your senses since kindergarten. So I know you're very aware of what your 5 senses are. You can see them here: touch, hear, taste, see, and smell. And poems are filled with sensory words because what the authors of poems or the speakers of poems are trying to do is to create an image in our minds as readers. They want us to feel what they're feeling and hear what they're hearing and taste what they're tasting. And smell what they're smelling and see what they're seeing in their poems. So they use lots of strong sensory words to do that. So if you look at the first line in the poem, popcorn, pop, pop, poppity pop, which sense is that appealing to? Can you touch that? Can you hear it? Can you taste it? Can you see it or can you smell it? Yeah, you can hear that. The author is using those sensory words to create an image and let you hear that as a reader. The second line says shake and rattle and shake. As a reader, I can hear that. I can hear the shaking and the rattling of the popcorn as it's popping. The next line says the golden grains as they bounce and break. Golden grains. What sight do you think that appeals to? Yeah, you can see that. So golden grains is us appealing to our sense of sight. So this poem is filled with sensory words. And if you'd like to pause the video, you can read the rest of the poem to yourself and see what other sensory words you can find. On the next activity today, you are going to be sorting sensory words. So you're going to be given a list of words. They'll be different than these words, but you're going to sort them under the sense that they appeal to. And as we continue reading another poem today, you'll continue to think about sensory words. Have a great day and good luck.